I lost my train of thought. See what happens when you do things live and you're talking.
See what happens when you're getting old?
Yeah, go off screen before I kick you off. Because I know you lied. Shit. Go. All right. Are we actually recording? Oh.
Yes, we're recording.
All right. This is going to be the black and white segment of the video where we're supposed to start, but we haven't started. And action.
All right, so Fish and Quips, episode number 2.
Look at us on episode 2.
I know.
After it took us 2 weeks to do episode 1, but y'all don't judge us.
They don't need to know that.
But
y'all just.
Look, I'm as close to transparent as as black can get, so I'm being transparent. Took us 2 weeks, but we're back.
We're back.
One. Yes.
So how was your week?
It was kind of long. I was actually in Utah. I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok, but yeah. Jeez. I was in Utah for 4.5 days. Yeah. Business seminar. So traveling, it's actually really nice over there. First time.
I've never been to Utah, but I've heard that it's all the pictures and videos I've seen of it. It just looks incredibly beautiful in terms of the land.
It is. The mountains, even the grass ranges are really, really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go back when it's not, business related, because the majority of the time I was in the damn hotel, so didn't really get to do much.
Yeah, and when you're doing a seminar or something like that, you the whole day is just
8 to 10 hours gone.
Okay, yeah, you need to do that trip over.
Yes, and I'm a little jet lagged because I just flew in. I got back last night.
What do you mean jet lag? It's only
I'm jet lagged. I don't care.
2 hour difference.
Don't judge me. Anywho, how was your week? Thank you.
Jet lag.
Swear I flew from Phuket or something.
I'm telling you.
Oh, I was just tired. Hell, just leave me alone. I slept for 10 hours. Took a pill and knocked the hell out.
That's good. I'm glad for you. I'm glad. No, but well, welcome back from Utah. My week was pretty good. Just getting some work done and trying to work on the podcast and studying and stuff like that.
Well, listen, because you kept us in check because I did not have time to do my due diligence this week.
I called Tommy threatening him. I was like, excuse me, where's my show notes?
Where's my notes?
For this episode. He was like,
About that.
But I knew you were busy this week. I'm like, yeah, no, man, give the guy a break. I get it. So, but we're here with episode 2. So welcome and thank you for joining us here on Fish and Quips, where we talk about pivoting into cybersecurity and talk about cybersecurity related things, all the cybersecurity things from the standpoint of 2 relative newbies to the industry.
Yes, and we're also going to mix in some pop culture references, like things that movies and TV shows that have, tech related themes or whatever. So yeah.
Exactly.
Stick with us while we get into it. So this week's episode, we're going to talk about the bootcamp trap. Right,
and how not to fall into the bootcamp trap, right? But before we do that, we are first going to segue into a section that we call Cyber in the Wild, right? And it's where we choose one recent or significant cybersecurity breach and we break it down for you in plain language, okay? So let's talk about this week's breach. What is this week's breach?
Yes, so again, if you've followed me on TikTok at Neophyte1, I did a video recently on United Healthcare, a subsidiary of theirs called Change Healthcare, got breached by a ransomware attack group called the Black Cat. So what they did was they got in through, credential stealing, basically.
Right.
And they had access to everyone's healthcare files, their data, their payment information, you name it. It all got hacked. And so what ransomware means is they take all that information and they hold it for ransom. Yeah.
So you might be wondering how this happened. So basically what happened is that there was weak remote access security, right? So basically the hackers were able to obtain these stolen credentials, right, to access a Citrix server that they had, and that Citrix server unfortunately did not have multi-factor authentication enabled, right? So something as simple as enabling multi-factor authentication would have prevented this from happening, right?
Yeah.
And you know, what resulted was that 190 million people's personal information, including their social security numbers, including billing information, their contact info, their addresses, and of course their medical information was hacked and leaked onto the dark web, right? So,
and for those of you who don't know what multi-factor authentication is, that's why you need to follow us, for one.
Exactly.
And two, you know, when you do that thing and it asks you like, oh, we're going to send a text message to your phone, or we're going to send an email with a code, that's multi-factor authentication. So in addition to you entering your username and password, it'll send a text message or a code, you know, of some sort to another source that only you have access to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And, you know, and the thing is that, you know, a lot of times when we are faced with these things, we're like, oh my gosh, this is so inconvenient. It's so annoying. But what we have to realize is that there is, in cybersecurity, there is a direct correlation between lack of convenience and the level of security. So the less convenient it is to access a file, the more secure that is. So if you think about it, you know, you used to be able to do a simple password. Now they're telling you your password can't be anything less than 8 characters. You've got to use special characters. You have to use numbers. You have to mix it with uppercase and lowercase characters. And you're like, what is all this about? I'm never going to remember this. Well, you know, the point of that is that the harder it is for you to remember is the harder it is for a hacker to guess, right? Yes. So having things like multi-factor authentication, while they might seem like a pain in the ass, the truth is that these are sometimes the only line of defense between you being safe, your data being safe, and a hacker getting their grubby hands all over it.
Exactly. Think of it like having multiple locks on your door. Like,
exactly.
It'll make it extremely difficult to somebody. Yes, it's annoying. You have to use 3 and 4 keys, but same goes for somebody trying to break into your door. It's not going to be as simple as just turning the doorknob and walking in.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, this had some, you know, so what ended up happening with this, United Healthcare and Change had to end up paying the hackers over $20 million, right, in ransomware to help mitigate the spread of, you know, the damage that the hackers had caused. And they were able to get some of their systems back up and running, and had some workarounds that they used in the meanwhile while other systems were still down, right? But, you know, paying this, actually the bribe was actually $22 million. So paying this bribe, you know, they got back some of their stuff, but some of it. And then what ends up happening is that, unfortunately, you know, your stuff was already stolen, and it, you know, it could still be in the hands of somebody who has malicious intent. It could have been stolen, sold on the dark web. Like, you don't know what has happened. So paying a ransom is no guarantee that it is going to stop this attack or even prevent
it. Yeah, exactly. Because they already have your information. They're just going to ask for more.
Exactly. Exactly. You know? So, you know, some key lessons to kind of take from this is that remote access is a huge risk, right? Multi-factor authentication is not a nice to have. It's absolutely essential, because without multi-factor authentication present, if a hacker manages to get your credentials, they can easily circumvent anything and go off with your data, right? What's another key lesson?
And even, you know, once you change it, like, you could go in and change the password, but like she said, the damage is already done.
Exactly.
It's already too late. So if you don't have, you know, training in place for your team, you know, for yourself and your team, as a matter of fact, that will still leave you open for attack.
Exactly.
So if the mindset doesn't change that, oh, we need multi-factor authentication, oh, passwords should not be shared or reused because that's a lot of people's thing.
Mm-hmm.
The human element will always allow these attacks to happen.
Exactly.
So after a thing like this, United Healthcare needs to implement, and your company or just you in general, need to implement training and protocols that prevent this. Because you can have all the laws in the world, but if your people are not following them, they don't mean anything. And these attackers know that, and they attack the most vulnerable point, which is you.
Exactly, and you're going to hear us pound that point home almost every single episode. You can have the best setup in place, but human beings are always kind of that common denominator where things kind of fall apart, right? So it's definitely about education. Some other key lessons that I learned is that early detection is crucial, because what happened in this attack was that the hackers were inside of they had broken into the network, and they were inside there for days before they were detected. And in those days, they were able to exfiltrate a huge amount of data, of patient data, right? So to prevent that, things like segmentation and having good monitoring and logging practices would have prevented that from happening, right? Some other things are that third-party risks have wide effects. Change Healthcare was a third-party vendor for a lot of hospitals, a lot of pharmacies, a lot of insurers, and when it got breached, it had a cascading effect and affected everybody else there, and the cost of the breach is more than just the technology. It isn't just about like the cost to restore the IT systems. Think about
trust.
It breaks the trust. How do you even put a dollar amount on the reputational damage to United Healthcare and to Change Healthcare, right? As well, there's also the legal liabilities. Think of all the lawsuits, right? Think of the disruption to the financial flow, right? Think about regulatory penalties. All of these things have to be added in and factored in when you think about the true cost of a cybersecurity attack, right? And then, as you said before, ransom payments aren't a guarantee,
no guarantee,
right?
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed that it's going to stop it. It's not going to guarantee that it's going to fix
files
it.
Back, that people will have, it's no guarantee that they're going to restore the trust of that, because like you said, it's a network of people.
Right.
So now all of these networks are going to look to move somewhere else because they don't feel comfortable with you anymore. They don't feel like their information is protected.
Exactly.
And that you're going to step in. And what can you really do if you're just going to pay the money every time an attack happens? They're just going to do it again.
You're just going to look really enticing to another hacker.
Exactly. They're like, well, let's break in you to United Healthcare because we know they're going to pay the ransom.
Right.
Yeah.
But United, they learned a very hard and very, very expensive lesson. The estimate to the cost runs into the billions, right? It's more than just the $22 million that they paid in the ransom. The residuals, the kind of cascading effect, when you total everything up, the cost was in the billions. And then another key lesson from this is that, regulatory compliance matters, but compliance does not equal security, right? So even though you had strong HIPAA regulations in place, because there was a compliance gap, which in this case was the lack of multi-factor authentication, this breach was still able to occur. So you have to kind of pair regulation with strong security practices in order to, mitigate
that gap.
Yeah. So that was that breach. So we'd love to hear in the comments below if you've heard of this breach. I mean, it was 2024, so a lot of people have heard of it, especially if you keep up on cybersecurity news, and what your thoughts are on that.
And God forbid if you've ever experienced something like this yourself, let's talk about it,
Yeah, because we want to try and bring, we want to look at anything that happens out there and turn it into a teachable moment so that all of us can make sure that in our personal lives and for the companies that we work for, that we're advocating and doing everything that we can to make sure that things remain safe, secure, and data remains private, and that it remains uncompromised, right?
Yes.
So now let's move on to our
Get
main
into
topic.
the main topic. The reason why we came here today.
Right.
Boot camps. I know you went through one.
Yes.
I went through one.
Yes.
So let's talk about our experiences, and then let's give a reality check on whether or not someone should go the boot camp route if they're considering a move into tech. So
Okay.
I'll let you do the honors.
Oh.
Since you actually went into tech after the boot camp, I did not.
Well, okay, so I did a boot camp, but my boot camp, so I did General Assembly's boot camp, but I didn't do a cybersecurity boot camp. We're talking right now specifically about cybersecurity, but in terms of boot camps in general, they all kind of function in the same way. And so I did the General Assembly immersion boot camp in UX some years ago, did that, and I'll say that the boot camp was well structured, and with all boot camps, you have really got to do your research in them. It was pretty well structured, but at the end of the day, I could have saved myself that $22,000 plus. Okay, yeah. It's a lot of money. And boot camps, they do all kinds of things to entice you to come. You can do an income share agreement, which is what I did. And an income share agreement is where you don't have to pay anything up front. You don't have to pay tuition up front. You do the boot camp, and once you get a job making a certain amount of money, then you start repaying the tuition with the interest. So you could either pay all the tuition up front, and I think it was like $14,000, and then, but if you do the income share agreement, it turns into $22,000, which is what I had to pay back, and so I did it, but knowing what I know now, I didn't need that boot camp to get into UX, nor would I need a boot camp to get into cybersecurity. And so, I'd love to hear, but you did a boot camp specifically for cybersecurity.
I did.
So
it's called Cyber Pro University.
Okay.
And it was a lot cheaper than yours. It's $8,000.
Okay.
Still expensive for the average person. Nobody has that sitting around,
Right.
and I absolutely didn't. But it was the same thing. They enticed me with a payment plan, and so I paid a big chunk up front.
Okay.
I paid like a deposit to get into the course, and then they allowed me time to pay, the rest.
Right.
But it was the same thing. And once I got in, I started realizing, dude, these are just recordings. They literally left me with just recordings.
Right. Right.
And to do my own lessons. So I'm watching these recordings, pausing it, trying to go to the internet, do what they're telling me to do, come back, restart the video. It was just a night. I was like, dude, I could have done this myself.
Yeah.
I could have literally went to YouTube and just watched somebody doing it. Same thing, because I'm still going to have to pause. And I was taking all my own notes. I couldn't call anybody. The only contact was via email or through school. And by the time they reply, I'd already figured it out.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, I legit wasted $8,000 and learned absolutely nothing.
That's really rough. I mean, at least in my case, with General Assembly, it was, it was online, but it was live. So we had class, it was an immersion. So we were there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 days a week for 3.5 months, right? And we had instructors, and we had an outcomes coach who was helping us to prepare our resume and stuff like that. But at the same time, most of this information is stuff that I could have found on my own via YouTube or something. And I didn't know, because I was just interested. I wanted to get into tech, and, so I didn't realize. And I don't think, it was, I don't think that it's something that people have to do. And particularly with cybersecurity, where you're studying for certifications and they're looking for skills. All of the kind of projects that will get you the practical skills are posted online. And you just pick a few projects and you do those projects and you study for your certifications. You can check anywhere on YouTube for whatever cert, whether it's the Security Plus certification, whether it's the CISSP, or whatever cybersecurity cert you're going for. You can get those certs done, and you can get a lot of valuable information on how to study for those certs and what to look out for in the exams for free online.
Exactly. And don't fall for the trap that I fell for, the 6-figure salary. You can make $100K in 90 days, or or 6 months or whatever. If you go through this boot camp, it's that is the trap. That's literally the trap right there. They know, they prey on people's desperation if they're looking for a job, or curiosity, or they create that sense of, oh yeah, it's a get rich quick scheme. That's it. It's just under a different veil. It's the same scheme under a different veil.
Yeah.
Anybody promising you an exact salary with no job guarantee is lying to you.
Right.
So do not fall for that trap. I fell for it.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to fall into that same, thing. If you want to go there, which most people, I think, everybody learns differently. So some people's thing with going to a boot camp is structure.
Yeah.
Most people aren't disciplined enough to do it, on their own, or they don't have the time, or they just need something that they can follow. And they want that mentorship, that sense of community or whatever. But you can find that on your own.
Exactly.
There's so many resources like School and Try Hack Me and Hack the Box. Like, those are resources that are either free or very, very low cost, that you can use as your study guide and your, mentor, for lack of a better word, because there are going to be other people on those platforms who are going through the same thing. So yeah,
exactly. You don't need to spend that money. So that's basically our tip for you. As we said, start with YouTube. There are a lot of different YouTube channels that focus on cybersecurity, and you just kind of Google, how do I become an ethical hacker? What is the certification pathway? And you're going to come up with hundreds of videos telling you what the certification pathway is. And you start out there. You start out by studying for your Security Plus. You want to understand networking. So, maybe you want to study for your Network Plus, right? Then you go from there depending on the pathway you choose. What we will tell you is that you want to choose your pathway early, because that's going to determine which certifications you have to personally study for to get on that track.
Yes.
Right? And it's different. The certification pathway for GRC is very different for that of becoming an ethical hacker. It's different for that of becoming a cloud security engineer. So you definitely want to research all the different roles in cybersecurity, find out what you're interested in, find out what the certification pathway is for that, and then you start knocking out those certs one by one and doing the accompanying labs and projects that will give you the practical skills to be able to speak to what's on the exam. You want to have the theoretical knowledge that the certs will give you, but you also need, what's even more important, is the practical knowledge that these labs and these projects will give you through, as Tommy was saying, the Try Hack Me's, the Hack the Boxes, right? So Pico CTF is another one. There's a bunch of them out there, right? So, and then we're a resource. Like, we have been learning what works. We both have mentors in cybersecurity who are advising us. And so, we know how to kind of study for these things. So, reach out to us if you have any questions, drop them down below. You can DM us, you can reach us on TikTok. You can reach me at Dara Stays Curious or
at Neophyte1.
Exactly.
All socials, same username. So yeah. And to add to that, it's a thing where I lost my train of thought. See what happens when you do things live and you're talking.
See what happens when you're getting old?
Yeah, go off screen before I kick you off. Because I know you like, shit.
Never mind that I'm a whole decade and something older than Tommy, okay?
Blah, blah,
We ain't even going there.
Blah, blah, blah. They think because they have that good Trini Caribbean blood.
Yeah, cameraman who gives us the dope B-roll footage.
Yes,
is
Mr.
off
Torres
to the
Bull
side.
King.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, is off screen throwing a little bit of shade at me about my age. But, But yeah, so
anyway, let's move on to the next segment.
Okay, so that's what we were talking about. We're talking about boot camps.
Yes.
Personally, we don't think you need to do them. If you are somebody that needs structure, you can find structure in lots of ways. I don't like to toot my horn too much, but I'm pretty good at studying and organizing myself with studying. So if that's something that you need a little bit of guidance on, definitely
she's really good.
Reach out to me. I will say, that setting up a second brain is going to be really critical, or has been really critical for me, because, you know, studying cybersecurity is like, it's really vast. There's a lot of information you have to take in quickly. And if you've ever heard of the concept of a second brain, that is like a digital kind of resource where you keep all of your notes together that organizes them. For me, I use Obsidian. There's also Notion, there's OneNote, there's RemNote, there's LogSec. There's a whole bunch of them out there that you can choose from, and just take the syllabus. After you learn what the pathway is, take the syllabus, break it down, and you know, kind of segment your second brain into the various modules in that syllabus, and it will help you to stay organized, right? So that's another tip right there.
All right, look at us giving all these gems,
all the gems, dropping all the gems. These are the gems that we wish we knew when we got started.
Where were we when we got started?
So that said, let's move on now to the beginner
new
tip
segment.
of the week.
We did that. We just did those.
Wait, did I say?
Yeah, we just did those.
Okay, that was.
See, who getting old now, y'all?
Listen, I feel like forgetfulness is contagious. I was perfectly
Sounds
fine.
good.
I was perfectly fine
before you turned your age that you are now. So don't even try it. That's what you get. Karma come around real quick. Ooh, she spin the block on you.
I was just trying to relate to Tommy. I really didn't forget, right? Anyhow, moving on.
Next topic.
So let's talk right now about
our new segment again.
Our new segment. Yes. Let's introduce a new segment.
Look at us.
Yeah.
So we're calling this new segment the Fish Tank.
Mm-hmm.
So basically we're going to pick a reference or a movie or TV show or something related to pop culture, and, you know, how the cyber element is implemented in that, you know, movie or show.
Right.
I didn't break that down properly, but I don't care.
So,
don't judge me. You get the idea.
Yeah, so basically we're just looking for cybersecurity references in pop culture, and we're going to pick one and we're going to discuss it for a bit. So what is this week's pop culture reference?
A TV series that she picked that she hasn't watched as yet.
Well, I did hear about it. So, okay, but you watched the first season, then he's putting me on blast right now. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
We're even for calling me old.
He's never going to forget it.
My name is Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
Nice to meet you.
Exactly. Mr. Petty Crocker. It's all good. It's all right. Mr. Petty LaBelle.
Yeah, that's me. That's me, baby.
So this week we're talking about Mr. Robot, and that is a TV series that was on from 2015 to 2019, right?
What network was it? FX?
I think it was FX.
I think it was FX.
I think it was FX.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
I'm just trying to, in case they want to go watch it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and the main character was Elliot Anderson, and he was a cybersecurity engineer by day and a hacker by night. Mm-hmm. And it's said that Mr. Robot is beloved in the cybersecurity community because it is one of the TV shows that has the most realistic portrayal of what it's like to be a hacker, right? Mm-hmm. It's none of the flashy stuff that you see in Hollywood where they've got this invisible screen with all this green code coming down, falling down. It's none of that. It actually shows him, talking about privacy and surveillance and corporate control and also issues of mental health. Right?
Yep, exactly. And the key takeaway from that is we want you to know I know the writers and the producers of the show, they want you to know that real skills are built slowly through practice, and not in just like a 30-second montage where you just learn it and you jump in and you know everything. No, it takes real study and practice to get good. Nobody jumps in being an elite, hacker or whatever. So that was my thing with that, and that kind of gave me more a sense of I can do this, Yeah.
So you watched the first season?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, the first season was really good, and it'll hook you.
I wanna watch it. I have heard about it, and I meant to watch it and just have not gotten around to it. But I'm definitely going to take a look at it so that I can have better context on it. But okay,
Yeah,
so
we can spin the block like Karma did you just now, and come back to it. So yes. So, all right, so we're gonna land this plane real quick before I get smacked.
This plane a little bit. Let's
move
segue
a little bit.
Right.
Let's go on to the question of the week.
So
that is not on screen anymore. Oh, you're the worst teleprompter. Come on.
Our question of the week is
hold
on. Let me just pull up our question of the week.
Yeah,
right. So hold on, just bear with me.
So our guy in the chair, as they say in tech, our guy in the chair is ChatGPT.
Right.
She
keeps us in check. Like we come up with the ideas and stuff, but she helps us to kind of organize it. So okay, so the question of the week is, isn't it safer to just memorize all of my passwords instead of trusting a password manager? Let us know what your answer to that is in the comments below. And that now takes us to our, next episode. So next week, what are we talking about? Well, right. So the next week, our title is Password Managers. Are they your new best friend, or are they
worst enemy?
Your worst enemy, right? So that is what you can stay tuned for on next episode of Fish and Quips.
Yes.
But in the meanwhile, please follow us on our respective socials. We're going to drop them in the pinned comment down below, right? Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes, we would love that.
Exactly.
And we're going to cross post eventually. Like we'll put like segmented little bite-sized pieces on the socials, and then you guys can find the long-form version here on YouTube, because obviously we can't upload a video that large.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. But so
and send us questions and drop hints for future episodes, things that you guys might want to talk about that we may have missed, or just something that interests you, and we'll talk about it on screen, and then we can chat and build this community out.
Exactly. So thank you again so much for joining us on episode 2 of Fish and Quips. We're super excited about this podcast. And so we're super excited to be in community with you and have you join us here as we go on this journey, right?
Yes.
So we'll see you guys next week. Please take care. And once again, hit us up on our socials, and we will see you guys next week, Wednesday.
Peace.
Peace.